To be completely honest with you guys, I thought I could fit this update into a YouTube short, and after trying multiple times, I've just decided this feature's too big. There's too many things to talk about for one 60-second video, so I want to dive into it in a more complete video as to why my Tesla just got way better for free via over-the-air updates. I love these because pretty much none of them require full self-driving or premium connectivity, or really there's not much changes for the Model S and X. These are just wonderful changes that even the base Model 3 can get. So without further ado, let's begin. So this is 2023.12 here, and the first one is text size improvements, which is funny because I was just watching Out of Spec Dave, and he was complaining how maybe for older generations, the fact that the text is kind of small on Tesla's screen may be harder to read if you're like short-sighted or whatever. So we're gonna check that out really easily in just a second, thanks to this other feature they added, Control Search, which is something our phones and tablets have had for a long time, and it makes abundant sense to bring it to the Tesla. You can literally just hit the car button, and up here now we have a search, and as soon as you tap that, it actually automatically shows you some of the latest features that they just added. So one of which is the text size editor, and another one which is really cool is letting you remap what holding down the left scroll wheel does. So I actually have mine set to glove box because I was getting tired of having to open settings every time I wanted to open it. So now all I gotta do is hold this down and boom, glove box opened. It's just that simple. So we can close that. And there's lots of other features this one can do, which I like. So temperature, fan speed, display brightness. You can save a dash cam footage, which is great. If someone cuts you off or does something illegal, you can immediately just record the last 10 minutes of driving just by holding down on that scroll wheel really quick. So you can also have it bring up the camera, the defroster, the dome lights and stuff. Actually, I haven't thought of trying the dome lights before. That's cool. Does that actually work here? Let me give it a shot. If I hold it down. Oh, I see. When you hold it down, it gives you an on-off command. There you go. You switch it just like that. Does it? Yeah. And of course I can just scroll through it. That makes a lot more sense. I don't know why I reached for the display. So that allows you to turn on all of the cabin lights without taking your hands off the wheel. You just hold it down. There we go. Yep, the backlights are on as well. That's actually really smart. If you need to see something in the dark or someone in the back is looking around for something, now I can turn it on by command, which is pretty smart. Thanks, Tesla. But this text size one I've actually not tried because, interestingly, if you select large text, it says it requires a system restart. And I have not done this yet, so you're going to catch my real-time reaction. Let's give it a try. The whole car has to reboot. I don't know why. You know, on my phone and my tablet, you don't have to reboot the entire device in order to get the text size to change. But, oh, at least that was pretty quick. You know, it doesn't look that much bigger. Yeah, you know what? Actually, it does. I'm looking at it now. That text is a bit bigger. This text doesn't seem that much different, but if anything, what I like to do on my phones and tablets is actually makes the text a little bit smaller. But yeah, looking into these settings now, it does look a little bit bigger, but it wasn't as gargantuan big as I thought. This is still a cool, nice option to have. And one of these things that kind of worried me at first, but I ended up liking in the end, is this new gear chimes. So now the car makes a sound when you shift into gear. And typically I'm the kind of guy that's like, no, don't make any noises, and you've probably seen me on this channel before complain about all the noises autopilot makes. But the reason I actually ended up really liking this chime, which you can turn off by the way if you don't want it to make that noise, thank you Tesla for letting it be optional, but the gear changing sound effect for the Model 3 is actually really good. I thought it would be an existing sound that they would just pull from the library, but it's very subtle, it's very low tone, and I love this sound so much that I wish Tesla would change the autopilot activation into this noise, because it's really satisfying. Okay, let me just play it for you. Right, so we're in the car, we're ready to go, so I put my foot on the brake, and when I push down, it goes like this. Very subtle. You could probably barely hear it, but if I just put it into reverse for a second here too, I'll back up just a tad and then push it back into drive and stop. Thank you, Park Assist. Sonar, it's so helpful. But it's just a really subtle, very basic, oh, even when you put it in park, it sounds a little bit different. Listen to this. It's just 3 very subtle little chimes. Please, Tesla, let those sound effects replace the autopilot ones, because they wouldn't wake up people in the car, and they're so much more subtle, and they're just enough to notify you that the car is changing directions now, but not in your face, like bah, 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 like so many of the other sounds are on this car. So actually, I thought I would turn that off as soon as I saw the option for it, but I've left it on because it's a very satisfying sound. I don't know, maybe I'll get bored of it later and turn it off. But points of interest is another real cool one. So now you get ratings and pictures as you pull up items nearby. So let's go ahead and try that out. There's no Walmarts on Mars, unfortunately, but let's just try out a few locations. If I tap on one here, there you go, 1,003 reviews, and there's photos, and you can actually read these reviews shockingly while the car is in motion, which I thought was kind of dangerous. But yeah, it's kind of cool to actually see photos there. They do this for superchargers as well. So if I select this supercharger here, they have locations showcasing there's other chargers nearby. One recommendation to Tesla I will make though is I wish you could open these photos. Like, I should be able to tap them and see them on a bigger screen if I want to. I don't know why it doesn't let you do that, but it's cool that there's something there. Before, there wasn't really much information at all. And aside from that, they have get to know your Tesla, just kind of tutorial thing. I don't really care about the voice recognition language or the phone call controls because I don't talk on the phone. But there was another change that they didn't list here in the release notes, which is really cool. They finally updated the charge limiter icon within the car, and this was like super poorly designed on the previous version because you just had a little triangle slider and it wasn't very accurate. So they directly basically just lifted the charge limiter from the Tesla app and now put it into the charging section, and this is way simpler, way cleaner than before. Still don't let you set the charge limit below 50, which could be problematic if you arrive home at a low state of charge and you want to charge it, but you want it to stop when your peak hours begin or something. But I guess you just have to schedule around it. But still, really love this updated charge limiter. And because I'm LFP, it still gives me that heads up warning. It still says, hey, we want you to charge to 100% once per week. But because I'm home a lot, I don't want the car sitting at 100% all the time. So I make sure to charge it to full once a week, by the way. And one slight little change that I also didn't see in the release notes is they've changed like the boldness of the font. Like the speed is a lot more blocky than it was before, and the autopilot animation kind of gets bigger and goes away more so than it did in previous generations. So charge limiter improved. It makes noises when it changes directions. You get more points of interest and more data that way. You get more text size options. You get a search bar in settings, and your left scroll wheel is now mappable to whatever you want, whether it be dome lights or the glove box or even the heated steering wheel or the acceleration mode. Not that I care about that, but honestly, just having something physically open, just for me, pressing down on that wheel is so much fun. I don't know what it is. It feels like magic when I just go, open sesame, just like that. It's so cool. Thank you. I want more of that customization where you can map things. Like, because Tesla is listening so much, it seems, with a lot of these software updates, I'm gonna make a suggestion for what I want. I don't care if it's a holiday update or not. It feels like it wouldn't be that complicated to add, but as someone who really cares about my like driving efficiency, and I just drove around in the driveway, which is why the watt hours are all off on that one, so please ignore that. But when I take my drives, I love seeing what my efficiency is for that drive. If I could just put that efficiency number right above the energy graph where it shows your regen versus your power consumption, that would make a lot more sense in my opinion than just constantly putting the word chill, which is what it does right now, which as someone who is a featherfoot, you know, someone who does not accelerate very much, my car's always in chill, okay? I don't need to be quickly turning it off of chill, and it feels redundant in my opinion to put a setting up there that is not changing, you know? Everything else up there changes. Your driver profile changes, your Sentry mode changes, your temperature changes, the time of course changes, lock versus unlock changes, your battery percent changes, and you can check it in miles if you need to, park, reverse, drive, yeah, all that changes. But this, for us at least, is perpetually always saying chill for weeks and weeks at a time. Maybe that's getting too picky, but hey, I feel like when Tesla's willing to add little things like this that make the car ownership experience that much more fun, then I'm gonna continue to have picky kind of requests, and y'all can just deal with it. But overall, this is just one of the best parts, in my opinion, about owning a Tesla is you just get a notification on your phone that's like, hey, software update's ready, and you update the car and it gains a whole bunch more functionality. So thanks, Tesla, for doing that for free for those of us who aren't that interested in premium connectivity and what have you. But thanks all for watching, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.